You think Nvidia is winning this race. That is the assumption almost everyone is operating under. But the decision that locked their future was already made. You did not see it happen, and now they cannot reverse it without breaking the very system that made them powerful. Most people look at Nvidia and see dominance, rising revenue, endless demand, data centers packed with chips that everyone wants and cannot get enough of. From the outside, it looks like control. But control and flexibility are not the same thing, and right now Nvidia has one without the other. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Nvidia did not build a company that can easily change direction. They built a machine that only works if the world keeps believing one specific idea. That more chips always means more intelligence, more power, more progress. As long as that belief holds, Nvidia keeps winning. The moment it weakens, Nvidia becomes stuck. Over the last few years, the entire AI industry accepted a simple equation. If you want smarter systems, you buy more hardware. If you want to stay competitive, you scale up. If you want to win, you spend more money on compute than the company next to you. That equation turned Nvidia into the center of the AI universe. Every major company built their future plans around it. Every boardroom assumed the same thing. That intelligence would always be expensive, and hardware would always be the bottleneck. Nvidia did not just sell chips. They sold certainty. They sold the idea that progress had a clear price tag, and that price tag ran through them. Here is where the trap begins. When your entire ecosystem depends on growth through scale, you lose the ability to slow down. You cannot pause. You cannot pivot quietly. You cannot admit that the math might be changing. Because the moment you do, everyone downstream feels it. Think about what Nvidia is actually tied to. Massive long-term contracts. Customers who have spent billions building data centers around Nvidia hardware. Governments planning infrastructure around energy-hungry compute. Investors pricing the future on the assumption that demand will only increase. This is not just a product cycle. This is a commitment spiral. Now imagine what happens when a different idea starts working. Not louder, not bigger, just more efficient. An approach that delivers similar results using fewer resources, less power, less hardware, less cost at scale. Even if that approach is not perfect yet, it introduces something dangerous. An alternative. Nvidia cannot openly fight that idea without validating it. They cannot embrace it without undermining their own foundation. So they stay quiet. This is why you are not seeing dramatic public reactions. No panic statements. No aggressive repositioning. No sudden narrative shift. Because acknowledging the shift is more dangerous than ignoring it. If Nvidia admits that efficiency matters more than brute force, the entire pricing logic of the last few years starts to wobble. Customers start asking uncomfortable questions. Do we really need this many chips? Do we really need to expand this fast? Do we really need to keep spending at this level? And once those questions start circulating, they do not stop at one company. They ripple through the entire system. That is the trap. Nvidia cannot move first. This does not mean Nvidia is about to disappear. It does not mean they suddenly become irrelevant. What it means is more subtle and far more important. They are locked into defending yesterday's rules while the game slowly shifts underneath them. Every large system reaches this moment. When the thing that made it unbeatable also makes it rigid. When success turns into momentum that cannot easily change direction. The AI race is entering that phase right now. The conversation is quietly moving away from who can build the biggest model, who can buy the most hardware, who can burn the most electricity, and toward who can do more with less, who can lower costs without losing capability, who can scale intelligence without scaling infrastructure at the same rate. That shift does not happen overnight. It starts small, in research papers, in internal experiments, in decisions that never make headlines. And by the time it becomes obvious, the leaders of the old system are already constrained by their own success. This is why Nvidia looks confident, but sounds cautious. Why expansion continues, but messaging stays controlled. Why there is so much focus on defending the current model instead of reimagining it. They are not losing, but they are no longer free. And in technology, freedom matters more than dominance. The companies that win the next phase of the AI race will not be the ones who scaled the fastest in the last phase. They will be the ones who can adapt without breaking everything they built. Nvidia built a machine that thrives on scale. Now the world is quietly testing whether intelligence can grow without it. That is the tension. That is the trap. And that is why this moment matters far more than most people realize. Because once the rules truly change, the companies that cannot move quietly enough will have to move publicly. And by then, it will already be too late. This is not the end of anything, but it is the moment where the map stops matching the territory. And if you are still navigating by the old map, you will not see the turn until you miss it.